In honor of hashtag OTA After Dark, some nipple. This is Cory, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. It is 9:09 Pacific time. That makes it 12:09 Eastern Standard Time. Thank God, because Cory's already making this an R-rated podcast. Welcome to episode 174 of the Anthem podcast, coming to you from beautiful downtown Los Angeles, California, broadcasting from high above the 110 freeway from the hashtag OTLA studios. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for telling other people. Thank you for carrying a pigeon your long-lost relatives news of the podcast. We appreciate every little bit of it.
Absolutely. And we had a great week on social media this week. Not only did we get a repost from a fan who's been a long-time fan, but I think it's the first time that she actually reposted
First time, long time?
First time, long time. So want to give a big shout-out to Alyssa for posting that. Be like Alyssa. Go and repost the podcast.
I mean, not in all your affairs, but I mean, like, especially in this one.
Yeah, especially not with the supporting Cory on the whole, coupon thing. Don't be like her in that. And also, we got a couple of tweets from people wearing the OTA gear.
Yeah.
So if you want to be like Flash and so many other people, go to otheanthem.com, click over to the merch tab, and you can get your own O The Anthem shirt. Go out and wear it, and when people ask questions, let them know where they can find your favorite podcast.
And another thing to keep in mind, I had a discussion with somebody about merch the other day, and she said, why don't you have this shirt? And I said, because nobody tells me to make that shirt.
Right.
So if there's something about the podcast that you particularly like and would like immortalized on a shirt of some kind, maybe a sports ball shirt or something of the sort, just send us a message at O The Anthem on all your social networks, Cory at otheanthem.com, or the listener line 443-219-7595, 443-219-7595. And we'll see if we can make it happen.
Yep. And
we're about making dreams happen.
And we're looking to make new merch. So you guys let us know what it is that you would want, and we can put it up there. In fact, I think there's already a design in process right now from a viewer suggestion. So let us know. Now, we are strangely broadcasting on Thursday night. Like I said, it's midnight Eastern time. Why is it that we're doing that, Cory?
Because starting early in the morning tomorrow at a time right now unspecified.
6 a.m., right? You're leaving at 6 a.m.
So it's being said 6 a.m. I don't know if that's actually going to be true.
Yeah.
But we are going up to Napa, California,
right.
San Fran first, and then onward to Napa.
Yeah.
With Brendan and Kat, and we're going to have some fun times in wine country.
Yeah. Now, you're a huge wine drinker, I know, so you must be looking forward to this.
Nope, not my thing, but it's all right. I like Napa. Enjoy.
They need a DD, so I'm going.
Yeah. Might as well.
So make sure you guys are following along at Legend CB5, at O The Anthem, and of course at Robert and Cheek for our various weekends. Cory's will be much more interesting than mine, but you'll be able to see all the pictures from Napa.
The part I'm really looking forward to, above all else, though, is on starting Monday, the O's are in Anaheim.
Right, yeah.
So we get to go and actually see our O's live, me for the second time this season, you for the first time this season. Yes. And I'm looking forward to it, especially because the tickets on StubHub are cheap.
Yeah. Anaheim.
Cheap.
I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't understand why no one except for the city of Baltimore appreciates baseball. Like, you could still get a ticket for $8 on Ollie's bargain night.
Yeah.
But you're in the very high up left field reserve seats. We're sitting not on the field, but really good seats with a really good
club
view.
level.
Yeah. Ridiculous. All right. Tickets that we were paying an arm and a leg for season tickets for $7.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, Anaheim.
It costs the same amount to go round trip.
Yes.
And do the train all the way to Anaheim and back than it did to actually purchase tickets. So come on now.
Get your shit together, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because this was looking like possibly the first year in the last 15 years where I didn't see an Orioles game.
Yeah.
So luckily they were coming. I mean, they always come out west. But, luckily, I'm in a position now where we can take Monday and go to the game. You're going to go to more than one game.
Yeah, I mean, I have Tuesday and Wednesday off right now, so
right.
I'll go see them all. And Wednesday is actually going to be a pain in the ass because it's a day game.
And it's a businessman special game.
Yeah.
Which is even the worst kind. Like, a day game that's 3 o'clock is like, but.
No, so my one complaint, I've been to the ballpark in Anaheim before, and my one complaint was the last time I was there, it was in the middle of a day game.
Yes.
And it was so hot, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting in the sun baking. So on Wednesday, I'm doing whatever I can to find like seats underneath the club level, like the shaded spot.
Right.
like third baseline, and I'll be somewhere around there. So look for snaps, look for insties, look for everything like that.
Follow along on social media. You guys don't want to miss that. And hopefully a little inspiration maybe for some of that gear. Maybe being at a ballpark on the West Coast will come up with some ideas. We'll be kicking that around.
Yeah.
So make sure you follow around. Another reason I know you're looking forward to getting out of LA is that you have a plethora of emails now from actors, which good, but also maybe not so good.
Well, yeah. So I've been working on a new short film that should be coming shortly called Sonder.
Yes.
And I decided that I'm going to put up the casting thing so I can let that build up a little bit while I'm getting ducks in a row. And I put up one with Upcast earlier in the week and with Backstage today. Yeah. And in 3 hours got 220 submissions or something like that. Backstage.
Because that's completely different websites. And I was going to say, be careful checking those emails from Backstage. But so 200 submissions.
Yeah, in like 3 hours.
And listen, I guys don't understand how amazing that is, because when we did casting for Heretics, it was so hard to find. I mean, we would have loved to have 200 people at our casting call. And I mean, by the way, if you want to check that out, make sure you go to youtube.com/OTheAnthem. You can find the entire Heretics series there. And it gives me inspiration that we should write some more episodes, because if we can find actors to do it, it would be amazing to continue that series. But we would have loved to have 200 people show up. And how many parts are in Sonder?
4. Right.
So for 200 people, that, guys, is exactly why we had the idea to move out here.
I do have one qualm, though. If I write that the age range of something is like 20 to 30, and you are 32, I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass. Like maybe like, you play young. I look younger than 32.
You don't look 32.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, like I could play 20 to 30.
Yeah.
But I mean, like if somebody has their like play to age being like 25 to 35, I'm giving them the pass. I'm letting them, I'm bringing all takers. Yeah. I don't care. If you audition for the role and you're clearly 50, then I gotta,
it's a little bit of
it's a little bit of a stretch. It's not going to work. The other one that I don't really quite understand is like on all these roles too. 3 of the 4 roles I put up like literally any race. Yeah. I don't care. I have age ranges to make it fit with the characters. But I'm willing to look at literally anybody except for one role, which I specifically wrote for an African-American man.
Right.
And have gotten so many white guys applying to do that role, and I'm just like you didn't even read. Like,
yeah. Well, maybe they play black. I don't know.
I play compelling black.
Because here's the other thing: maybe those guys are black, but if they are
like in a Rachel Dolezal kind of way,
no. In and forgive the term, but I think people understand what I mean. Passable way, it's easier in Hollywood to get a job if you're white. So on all of their things, they put white when they show up. They look white, but they are African American. I mean, would that be? I mean, I'm sure not all of them, but I imagine that
it's not. It's not that. That's not what I'm concerning myself with. Right. I'm concerning myself with people who look like me, and they're just like, I can't wait to be your black guy. And I'm
Robert
just like,
Downey Jr. did it. All right, it's totally fine. You could do it. And I do want to say,
I'm just the guy playing the guy thinking he's the other guy.
Alyssa has commented in the chat stream to let us know when to try out. She wants to be there, and I will remind Alyssa that I actually have a pilot that was based on her life, kind of. Some of her stories inspired it. So she can certainly come out and try out for that. I would much rather have her in the writer's room than on set. But, I'm open to all takers at that point. And I've been trying to encourage her and her husband to move to L.A. Because why do you want to be in Massachusetts, guys? There's no reason. There's nothing redeeming about Massachusetts.
My Facebook feed today was filled up with all the people like showing the rain and like Snapchats of the rain. And I look outside and I'm just like, it's not raining. What's the problem with these people?
It's been nearly 3 months since we had any rain. That's super weird. Who would have thought? But yeah, the one of the motivating factors, other than the looking for a writing job, which is obviously still underway, but the other one was the short films and all the other projects, being able to find a plethora of talent and being able to really just get all of those actors who are available. And so I'm happy to know that the first effort at that has been so successful.
Yes.
But, you're going to be answering emails from Napa because that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm just going to like check in tomorrow and it'll be like, oh, plus 400. Great.
Okay. Yay.
Maybe I shouldn't have said it for a month long because...
Yeah, and Alyssa comments, the Red Sox, obviously.
Well, that's not a reason to stay somewhere.
I mean, we're going to go see the Orioles here in Anaheim, so really not a reason to stay. But if you
plus Fenway Park's a dump. They should really just tear it down.
Yeah, really.
See that? It's called stirring the pot.
But if you want to be like Alyssa, make sure that you look out for all of the notifications for our live video. Go to facebook.com/OTheAnthem. Make sure that you click on the notifications tab. There's a little bell in the top right, and that will give you a notification that the podcast is going live, so you can come in and watch. Join us in the chat. Obviously, we are pulling comments directly from the chat during the show. So whether you're listening to this on Tuesday on your podcatcher of choice, or you're listening to this on youtube.com/OTheAnthem and enjoying the video, make sure you join us when we do the show live. Usually it's either Saturday or Sunday afternoons, and that little bell will give you notification, hey, the show's going live, and you can come in and join us. So make sure you do that. And we have one other bit of thing I want to get to before we get to the stories of the week, and that is, sadly, I was very disappointed with Cory this week.
With me?
Yes.
What did I do?
So we went and saw one of the most visually appealing films I've seen this year.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I
keep
know
in
what
mind,
I did.
I haven't seen a lot of films, and usually when I see them at the what are those theaters called? My favorite theater.
Oh, like the Regency?
The Regency theaters, which is not second run, but it's like the weeks after the debut. Theaters aren't great, so the production's not great and whatever. But I am so glad that we went and saw Dunkirk at the Regal Cinemas.
I enjoyed myself. It was fine.
It was an amazing, amazing movie, visually stunning. I think that the effects were great. The sound editing was great. Everything about the movie was great. But we walk out of the movie, I'm stoked. I am just like all about it. I nearly cried.
Is it one of those moments like where you walk out of a movie that you love and you're like waiting for the other person to talk and you're just waiting for oh my God, that was brilliant.
Yes.
Like, I know, right?
I was waiting for that moment. I nearly cried during this film. It was that good. And I look over at Cory, and what did you have to say?
I was very bored. I was very bored.
And what was my follow-up question to you, Cory?
Do you know what happened?
But do you have any historical context for Dunkirk? Now, I don't want to spend the time to go into it now. Maybe we do a Rob Explains Everything about Dunkirk.
Maybe you should write it down so you don't have to listen through
I don't know,
again.
I radio checked the last one, and I just put right on the right moment when it happened because I am just so in depth with this.
In touch with it?
Yeah, man. I just know when we talk about everything. It was crazy. But I think that would be a good idea because I'm sensing that some people may be like you and have no historical context for that movie.
Or care. I mean, that's the problem. Like,
how do you not care? How do you not care?
I just don't. I can't. I throughout school, throughout history class, like I just anytime anyone talked about a war, it glazed over.
Yeah.
Like it's just like one of those things I can't properly comprehend.
So what made you want to go see the movie then?
Christopher Nolan.
And so, this is the thing, guys. Like, Christopher Nolan was given a shot a few years ago.
Let me say this. Like, I do like being in a war isn't necessarily like a disqualifier for why I wouldn't see a movie.
Right. We did see Hacksaw Ridge.
And I enjoyed Hacksaw Ridge fine. Like I like Inglourious Bastards. Like that's not really in the war, but I mean, like just because it takes place in the war doesn't mean that it's disqualifying because I enjoy things that happen under the pretenses of war.
And this wasn't really a war movie.
No, I mean it wasn't like a Saving Private Ryan or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just boring to me. It just doesn't do it. Like it doesn't.
I can't. I just can't.
I thought the movie was great. Yeah. I thought that Nolan shot the shit out of it. I think that Tom Hardy should have a conversation with Nolan about why he's always got to cover up his damn face.
I think that Christopher Nolan is somewhat attracted to Tom Hardy, and he's like, we have to cover all of this up. This is not going to be good.
I can't be walking around in my suit and your face out. Hashtag OTA after dark.
I was gonna make some inappropriate comments, but
It's the pleats.
yeah.
It's the pattern of the pants.
Pleats, yeah. But I highly recommend you guys go see it. Even if you don't really know what Dunkirk is. I really should have made sure that Cory did a little research before we went in, but I don't really think you need it. It's the everything's wound up, and if you just take it as the story for what it's worth, I think it's well done.
Yeah.
And visually it's great. The sound is great. I am a little jealous because I kind of wish we would have seen it in 70 millimeter. I don't know what we missed, but I imagine it's like the scale of it would be better.
I don't imagine that you would have really noticed that much of a difference.
Maybe. I don't know. It's the kind of thing where like you don't know and you're just left wondering like, oh, what was it?
You know, what I really think 70 and bunch of fucking 70 millimeter fan nerds are going to come out of the woodwork for me on this.
Cory at OTheAnthem.com.
CoryBiggerFilmmaker.com.
There you go. Yeah.
I think 70 millimeter is kind of like the type of thing that you tell somebody to go see because it's the best version experience of it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, you know, like, oh, if I released an album, if I'm a band, I was just like, the best way to listen to this is go in the car, turn it way the hell up, windows down, just drive around. That's the best version of listening to this album.
Right.
Like where other people might say like, you know, like put it on, relax, just lean back, enjoy it.
Get the vinyl.
Yeah. Get the vinyl, go sit in your study with your cat and enjoy the album. Right. Like 70 millimeter, you know, while I love the fact that there's still people trying to make film happen.
Yeah.
Or keep film alive more than anything. It's to me, it just sort of like, you know, CinemaScope and stuff like that. Like it sort of had its heyday, but it never really took off as much as people had hoped it would.
Right. Yeah.
Like IMAX was always more of a draw, I feel, at least during my age, than the idea of like a 70 millimeter print.
Well, I think we had so much happen all at once. It was like the 70 millimeter, and then the IMAX actually came before that, and then 3D.
Well, I mean, like IMAX was based off of like, you know, like when 70, you know, it's the same sort of thing as 70. Yeah. It's not quite the same, but I mean, like
close.
As far as like if you went to an IMAX theater, it might have been filmed on a 70 millimeter camera.
Yeah.
If you went to go see like some nature documentary
Titanic.
or something like that.
Titanic was shot with IMAX.
I don't remember.
Well, the underwater scenes for
it was so long ago.
Yeah, it was like 90s. But no, I think the weird problem is that
it was like the same year that Fenway Park was built.
The problem is that when we have had such a change, like 3D. Do you remember the first 3D movie that you saw? I mean, I don't remember what it was, but it had to be while we were in college.
No, I mean, like I saw a 3D movie like way back when in the day, like back when the dumb
not the
3D,
not blue-red 3D. I'm talking about real 3D with the glasses.
College, yeah,
probably college, right?
Sounds about right. Yeah. I mean, like late on in college, maybe though.
So in the last 15 years, we've gone from that really piss.
I'd really say it was like 10 years ago though.
But we've gone from that piss poor 3D to Avatar, and then all of the like 3D that is so not noticeable, but you'd realize it if you were to see both 2D and 3D. You're like, oh, there's just so much more dimension to it.
Yeah,
the shadow box instead of the pop out.
But I mean, like, I'm not denying the fact that, like, you know, if you went to go see it in a 70 millimeter,
right,
then it wouldn't be amazing and spectacular. But there was also like, because you bring up the point of 3D, like there were 3D movies where there was like 10 minutes of 3D in it,
right?
And like you sit there with the glasses and the extra $8 for the like 2 times where something pops out towards the screen. Well, and it doesn't see like it was one of the Harry Potter movies that came out, and like the first like 5 minutes of it were in 3D, but the rest wasn't. Oh, dude. But you couldn't take off the glasses because
it was all the
all the effect that they put into making it 3D. Yeah. You couldn't watch it without the glasses. So there were people who enjoyed the first 10 minutes of it and like this amazing 3D experience. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, what the fuck? Now I got to watch it with these glasses for the rest of the time. It's not even 3D.
We definitely went to that together with someone at like 2 a.m. at Arundel Mills. Yeah, I remember that one. Anyway, yeah. So, but my point with that was just that 70 millimeter never got its heyday because things changed so quickly that we never got like here's 10 years where it's just 70 millimeter and that's the best thing you can see.
I mean, the problem, you know, 70 millimeter is really more of a it's just like a choice essentially.
No,
but I'm saying like
there is extra stuff on the right and left that you don't see if you go see it in any other format.
Right, but I'm saying it's just because you see it in standard or like a more 35 millimeter aspect ratio doesn't mean that you're not getting what's happening. Like,
I get that.
Nolan didn't put little gremlins in the side that only the people in 70 millimeter got. Like,
but I mean,
to
again,
like weed out the people who didn't get, like, it's like, oh, so you saw those gremlins the whole time. It's like, wait, what? There were oh, you fucking saw it in standard, you asshole. You don't even know what happened. Like,
no, but I just imagine that like the plane flying over the ocean or the ship on the ocean, there's just something that makes it seem smaller in 70 millimeter, and that was part of the message of that particular section. You know what I mean? That there are, and you went and saw the Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
And did you feel like it was a different experience than the standard?
Yes, but it was also a different experience because it was a different kind of film.
Okay.
Like, when I saw Spider-Man in 3D or the 4DX,
right? Yeah.
Like I told you, like,
still gotta go see that.
There wasn't a reason to see it in 4DX.
Right.
Like, if you wanted to, if you enjoyed it and you had the extra money, by all means go do it. But you didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
Just like I don't think you needed to see it in 3D. I'm sure that there's somebody out there who's like, the 3D Spider-Man's better than anything. Like, whatever. It's fine.
Sure.
If you saw it in 2D, you would not enjoy the movie. It wasn't a difference between whether or not you would enjoy it or not. It's just the method in which you took it.
Right.
So that's basically my point. Like, I think that, 70 millimeter is great. And I love the fact that filmmakers are using it more in their repertoire, and especially like visionary directors like Tarantino and Nolan. But I don't necessarily, I don't need Michael Bay making the next Transformers in 70 millimeter. I don't need.
Please don't. Please don't.
Although
he could keep the format alive.
It doesn't need to be a thing that happens like with everybody. Like I feel like right now where it is, some of these guys are just crazy in their own right. So I mean, like if Tarantino said that his next movie is going to be in smell-o-vision, something that hasn't been popular in 40 years,
right?
Then, and even by then, popular is a very narrow term.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be like, well, yeah, Tarantino can do whatever the fuck he wants. I love Tarantino movies. But you wouldn't recommend that
everyone see it.
Everyone do smell-o-vision, or you wouldn't recommend that people necessarily have to see it in smell-o-vision. You would just say, like, oh, new Tarantino movie's great. See however you can.
P.S. If you do it in smell-o-vision Tarantino, expect a check. Make that out to O the Anthem.
Yeah. Clearly, we've worked out this idea for you.
Yes.
We've agreed that it would be profitable.
Yes.
And
speaking of something that is probably going to be seen in smell-o-vision, Don Jr. just can't stay out of the news. This time, though, not his fault. Oh, well.
Well, it's all kind of his fault.
I guess depending on how you look at it.
It starts from him.
Yeah.
So
this week it was announced that there were subpoenas would go out from the is it the special prosecutor? No, it's from the
grand jury.
That a grand jury was convened and that subpoenas were going out for that grand jury for the 2016 meeting, which we've talked about on previous episodes, between Don Jr. and a bunch of Russians at Trump Tower. Not a lot of facts are out right now, but I feel like we do need to talk about...
grand juries are private, so
yeah.
I mean, it's not like somebody is going to have a press conference explaining what's going on with the grand jury.
So yeah, I feel like though we should talk. What are you thinking about the progress of this particular branch of the investigation?
I mean, I think we all knew that it was going to take a little while because it takes a while to like you got to think of it essentially as like a new law firm starting up.
Yeah.
Because like you when Mueller gets hired to do this or gets picked to do this, he's got to come up with investigators and lawyers and everyone who is going to work on it.
Right.
And he's got to come up with some sort of structure of how things work. I mean, it's basically like creating a law firm from scratch.
Yeah. With also, and actually it's like, kind of like getting a police department, the state's attorney's office, and I guess the investigators in between, the private investigators in between, all at once. We have to start up an entire city of investigation side. Yeah, all at once.
Right, and
it's not like you plant drugs or anything. So,
well, I mean, even if like the first day on the job, like Mueller like walked into the Oval Office and he's just like, "I'm looking forward to doing this investigation," and Trump was like, "Okay, I did it. Just fucking stop." Like, it's not like he'd be like, oh, okay, case closed.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, we
be
gotta.
like, we still have months ahead of us to get everything in a row.
Thanks.
Thanks for telling me up front. I mean, it makes it easier, but I mean, like, shit.
Let's just back up. Everything you say can and will be used to get you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's not like it's literally going to happen in like a day. So, but you know, this is obviously a step towards it. And if Don Jr. goes on to Sean Hannity, and I don't know, lies, then that's just shits and giggles. If you go in front of a grand jury and lie,
you're looking at jail time.
Yeah, you're going to jail for a while too. Like,
here's the problem though. I don't think he would lie. I think that he would go in there and tell the truth because I don't know that he knows what's illegal and what's not. He has already proven he has no concept.
He's already said illegal. He's done illegal things.
Yes.
So, I mean, at this point, he either goes in and says the same story that he's been saying
right,
and admits to it, or he changes it, and then they go, well, what about on this broadcast of Sean Hannity? It's like, I'm doing an act, man. Like,
yeah, I'm an actor.
I'm a political actor.
I'm
like a chameleon.
Jesus. But yeah, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how it goes. For those of you who don't really know the process, a grand jury is convened. It's a group of 21 people, generally 21, especially in the federal system, that get together and they do a miniature trial, a miniature version of the trial where basically the only people who get to talk are the state or the federal government, depending on what level you're on. But we talked about this a little bit when we talked about Ferguson and Darren Wilson, I think, because essentially the rule is that a good prosecutor can get an indictment on anyone because literally you only present the evidence that you have. Now, I imagine that in this case, there is not the one-sidedness of the grand jury because what they want to do is to put on a true miniature version of the case, show the pluses and the minuses, and see if they can convince a majority of these 21 people that there's a case here.
Here's the thing, though. Would you hold back if you were Mueller?
I think that I wouldn't do everything.
You would put everything out there to ensure that the grand jury rules that there's reason to go forward, but you wouldn't necessarily lay out all your cards out on the table and give them a chance to defend against it.
I wouldn't lay out all the cards, but I would also not necessarily only present the evidence that makes my case look good. I mean, I want there to be two sides of the story because I want to look at the weaknesses too. And you have a pool of 21 people and then find out, okay, what is the real support for Trump out there? And if this was to go forward, what am I really looking at as far as and you know, they're not supposed to think about politics, they're not supposed to think about any of that, but you do have to consider how good is your evidence. And the average congressman is no smarter than the person on the street. I think we've shown that over what's happened over the last few weeks. So I think that maybe you keep your Trump card and you don't show that, but you show your of your 10 hands, you show your 7 best and your 7 worst, and just see
how it plays.
Best, 7 of your best and 7 of your worst, and just see where you land.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about a grand jury is if they come back with a no bill, you could basically call another grand jury and then just change up the charges and put a new one in and say, all right, to the wall, everything in there. And then once the indictment goes through, add shit to the indictment that you didn't failed on before. So the process is a little bit skewed. So, but in the end, I guess we'll have to wait and see. The question is, does Don Jr. say anything? Because if he's smart, he goes in and refuses to testify.
Yeah, just plead the fifth.
And that doesn't mean that he's done something guilty, but again, he's admitted to doing illegal things on television. So I don't know how it gets any worse.
It's so shockingly stupid.
Yeah. And in other Mueller news this week, because we didn't have enough, there's rumors.
Mueller watch.
There are rumors that it looks like Mueller is investigating Trump's financial connections to Russia.
Yeah, that's sort of. There hasn't been anything firm on that yet.
Right.
But, seeing as last week we recorded a podcast on Saturday talking about Scaramucci, and by Tuesday he was gone. things might change quickly.
Yes, yeah. So it's a good thing to touch on at least. And we're also, because we're recording on Thursday, we're missing the Friday news dump. And
Yeah.
who knows what?
Who knows what the Washington Post is going to tell us at 5:00?
Yeah. But in the end, like the wide points of the story are kind of already known, and we discussed it a little bit. Trump basically said, "I'll fire Mueller if he looks at my financials," and then Mueller was like, "We're going to look at your financials," and then Trump backed off on that and said, "Well, we won't fire him, but I'm not happy about it. This should be private." And then now Mueller is actually looking at the financials, which kind of rounds us into the next point. Something we discussed with I'll call him a layman.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Roberto, was kind of asking about the wider implications of the Scaramucci firing, which we talked about last week. And the thing that came to me after the firing is that I think all of this is one big chess match to try and get to Mueller.
I like the idea of like the shell game, or like 3-card Monty. It's like
you think
just
you're
trying to
here,
fool, just trying to fool somebody.
We're moving around. The ball is really where we're going to put the ball where you don't think it is, and then boom, we got you, and we're taking your money.
Yeah.
But to kind of go through my theory, if I may. Mm-hmm. So this is my general theory of what's going on. Trump wanted to get Spicer out. He's an embarrassment. And I think that was evident by anyone who saw Spicer at all doing a press conference. I don't know that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is any better. She wore a green shirt after having to take questions about Sean Spicer being turned into a green screen on the internet. And then a few weeks later, she wears a green shirt herself because that's how this White House works.
By the way, I'll say this about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It's different than Sean Spicer, but it's not necessarily better.
Absolutely.
It's Sean Spicer would just like run like head first into like whatever damn controversy he could get himself into.
Yeah.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a little bit more restrained, but she's also like way more willing to like push the button on the no more White House press briefings than Spicer was, and she'll do it from the podium. So she'll just be like, "Listen, if you're not gonna do honest questions, I'm not gonna do these things anymore." It's just like you're like, "What are you talking about?" Like
that's how this White House is working. And the other thing that she did this week, which I found was interesting, is how she like used what Twitter. By the way, if you're not on Twitter, you're not getting any part of the news. Please get on Twitter so you can find out what's going on in the world. But she used a passive-aggressive white woman logic on April Rose. Is that her name? April Rose? No. April something. The reporter who got shut down by Sean Spicer before, where she said, April, since you said my name so nicely, I'll go ahead and take your question. And it's just like this passive-aggressive shit where like, they're your peers. You're not treating them like children in a classroom. Like, act like these people have a job to do and let them do their job.
A personal point that I don't like about her is the eyebrows. Because she's got those like Keaton eyebrows, Michael Keaton eyebrows, where when she's like answering your question, it looks like she's just like giving you a sarcastic response because her eyebrows are...
Yes.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. That's the reason why we did it.
Like,
wait.
Is that true?
A little.
No? Maybe? Okay. Yes? Yes. Okay.
She also looks like she doesn't ever get like she only has like one baseline emotional like.
Yes.
Like no matter what, like even when she's like outraged or has umbrage, she's just like, "Now I don't think that's fair."
That's because she doesn't have a soul, so it's hard for her to get worked
very
up about
even keeled.
Yeah. It's, when you sell it to the devil, that's really what happens. But so my greater point is this: so they wanted Spicer out, and how do you get Spicer out without firing him? Because you don't want to fire him.
Yeah.
You bring in somebody who he has vocally had hatred for before.
Yes.
Yeah. And Scaramucci is that guy.
The mooch.
So the other side of that is you get to fulfill with Scaramucci a promise that you made to a campaign donor, because Trump told him in December that he would in fact be the White House communications director. So Scaramucci sold his company to a Chinese investor for 40% more than it was worth. Why? maybe someone thought they would have an insight into the White House.
Maybe because he's so good at business.
Could be. Probably not. Probably because somebody who was smarter than him said, hey, we'll have a voice in the White House because I'm giving you so much extra money for your company.
Yeah.
But Scaramucci, as we discussed last week, found to be less than reliable when it comes to being a communications director.
No.
Lasted 10 days. Sorry about that, Mooch.
No.
But in the end, the other thing that you want to do is you want to get the one moderate voice out of your White House.
By the way, just on the Bannon trying to suck his own cock thing.
Jesus. Yes.
Just as an aside.
Yeah. Hashtag OTA after dark.
I wonder if he has some sort of knowledge of this, or if this is just like him like throwing something wild out there. But like I can't imagine like Bannon like reading that the next day or like within the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And just being like, well, I never tried that.
The two best responses to that, by the way, one, not even Steve Bannon would want to suck his dick. And two, Steve Bannon looks like the kind of guy who can suck his own dick. And that's why he just doesn't give a shit about anybody else. But nonetheless, so you want to get the moderate voice out of the White House, the one that you never really wanted there to begin with. And who is that? Priebus. The guy who's
company
the
man.
Guy. Yes, exactly right. So Scaramucci then goes on the attack on Priebus and gets him out of the White House. That creates a gap. And the shell game starts really right now. And that is that General Kelly is going to move from Homeland to the Chief of Staff.
Yeah.
That leaves Homeland open. Homeland is arguably the only step up for the Attorney General. Now, the Attorney General right now is Jeff Sessions, and he has
Keebler Elf Incarnate. Jeff
Exactly.
Sessions. Jefferson Beauregard Sessions.
Man, what a name. I hear slavery when you say that. Like I can hear chains rattling.
There's like Flavor Flav used to yell out like boy like in the background of like every other line. Like there should just be like one person but like the assertive like boy.
Yeah.
Like Jefferson Beauregard Sessions and just like his hype man just like boy.
Yeah. But yeah, so you want to get Sessions out, and Sessions Trump threatened to fire him and then said he wouldn't. He then tried to get Sessions to resign. Sessions said he wouldn't. So the only thing you can do is to move him and to make it look like it's a promotion. So you get him from the AG spot to Homeland. And the benefit of this, which what we discussed the other night, you do have to get him through the Senate again, but it makes the Democrats look really stupid if 4 months ago you approved of him and now we're moving him and now you don't approve of him.
Yeah.
And so I think that it would be an easy nomination and secure the nomination to move him over. This now leaves the Attorney General spot open. And you can nominate somebody who is theoretically, if you're smart, not connected to the Russia investigation at all.
Right.
And then what does the AG have the power to do that no one else does?
Like find somebody who has a long distinguished career in law, perhaps.
Right. But who also takes directions.
Yeah.
Because the AG can fire Robert
like
Mueller.
Maybe like F. Lee Bailey or something like that would be a good.
He takes directions really well, apparently.
I mean, you don't have to be an actual lawyer to be the Attorney General, right?
I think you do.
Oh, you have to be in a bar somewhere?
I think you have to be a member of a bar to be an Attorney General. So,
all right. Well, maybe not then.
Well, F. Lee Bailey's still a member of a bar.
Is he?
Just can't practice in most of the states that he used to practice in. But more importantly, I think you would make a good argument that he has a legal education and legal experience, even if he's not currently barred somewhere.
Yeah.
That he's an exception.
Yeah.
And it's not like we haven't made exceptions. General Mathis, General Kelly, half of the administration. So we can make an exception. But nonetheless, you get somebody in who can take orders. And then the AG is the sole person who has the ability to fire Robert Mueller, the special investigator.
Yeah.
So my theory is this is all a shell game to fire Robert Mueller and not make it look like you're firing Robert Mueller. The problem, as we discussed the other night, is that instead of doing this over a long period of time, and
you're going to try and shove it into 1 week?
Yeah, because that's just what Trump does. And instead of sending people to like faraway places, you're just
like
moving,
making somebody the ambassador to Greece or something like that.
which is a prestigious position. And why wouldn't somebody want that? Especially General Kelly, who had served in CENTCOM or Eurocom. So he had been part of the European thing before. So it's like, we're going to make you ambassador to France. Like you've dealt with the French before. And isn't that nice? No, we're just going to move him over and shift these people around. I don't know that for sure it's going to happen, but I have a great feeling that that's what this is all about. It's all to fire Robert Mueller. And that would be really stupid on behalf of the president.
It's like dumb chess.
It's the dumbest chess where
Just
you had a great
just
example.
move your queen to like the middle of the board and you're like, checkmate. It's like, wait a minute.
You had the greatest example of playing chess and how when you win chess, the best way to win chess.
Yeah. You don't want the other person to know it's coming. You want to be playing and like talking to them and sort of getting in their head a little bit and making the moves without them noticing so that when they make that one move, you can be like, check. Or checkmate. And then you look at the board and you're just like, oh, fuck. That bishop's right there.
I didn't
like,
even
if
see
I
the
go
bishop.
this way, then the bishop's got me. If I go this way, the rook's got me.
Yeah.
Like,
but I didn't see the bishop.
I didn't
when
see
I made
how
that
these
move.
things were happening in front of me.
Yeah.
The best chess players are the ones who are able to take the board and move things around without you noticing.
Yeah. What Trump is doing is basically overturning the board and then stomping on your king and being
And
like,
then
checkmate.
putting your king in the middle of the board and surrounding it by his pieces. Just like, I win at chess. I'm the best at chess.
Best at chess. Can't beat me. Best at chess.
I fucked Bobby Fischer once. I'm best at chess.
But yeah, I think that it will be bad for him. Again, I think we've talked about this in previous episodes. You're under investigation for obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
And the mandate of the special prosecutor is not just the crimes that have happened in the past, but current and ongoing obstruction of justice.
Yes.
So theoretically, you could fire him, and then he could argue the firing is not valid because that is, in fact, a continuing part of his investigation.
Right.
But I don't know that Trump's smart enough to
See
get
the
through
forest
that.
or the trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how all that shakes out. And again, things that are going to have to... We have a lot of that this week. A lot of things that are going to have to shake out in the future.
Yeah. Well, one thing I know for sure, we didn't bring this up pre-show, but
Yeah.
Trump, by the way, said that somebody at the top of the organization of the Boy Scouts called him up and said he delivered the best speech they've ever seen, and nobody from the Boy Scouts called him.
Yeah.
And then there was another one with the president of Mexico or something like that.
The transcripts of his call to the president of Mexico and Australia, or the prime minister of Australia, got leaked. And the first response, by the way, listen, administration, your first response of saying this is highly inappropriate, you shouldn't be leaking these kind of things, it doesn't matter. It was the same argument we made about the DNC emails getting out. Yes, your argument can be that they came out illegally. That doesn't address what is in the thing that got leaked.
Also, another thing, we talked about like the type of person who makes like a good chief of staff.
Right.
Part of how you get ahead in Washington is you effectively use the information that you have and the sources that you have to be able to make moves, to move your way up the chain of command. Somebody who talks to a lot of reporters and never gets caught is the type of person who would make a great chief of staff one day.
Absolutely.
Because he knows how to manage connections. He knows how to do things and make them work.
Yeah.
And like get the Congress to all vote for the same thing. Like work a whip. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Literally everybody in Washington talks to somebody.
Yes.
Like there's not any there's no honest man in Washington who goes home and just quietly like, no, sorry, I don't have time for you, Maggie from the New York Times. Like, no, everyone has somebody that they talk to.
They do.
Most of it's off the record and
deep background.
Yeah, like like we know for sure that in the Rose Garden the other day that Steve Bannon was trying to suck his own dick. Do you know about this? And it's just like, well, you don't have me on the record, but yes, I saw.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and the other side of that is there's so much paranoia because the reporters are giving you stuff too that you don't know.
Yeah, and not only that, but like the reporters, they're not always honest with what information they have, and they might say something that they think might be true just to see, just like like if the deny till you die side of cheating on somebody. Right. It's like until she's got video showing me with somebody else, I didn't do shit. I didn't do shit. So if like the girlfriend just randomly walks up to you and just goes like, "So, you got anything you want to tell me about?" Don't launch into the like, "No, I was cheating. You got me. How did you know?" Like,
I can't think of anything, sweetie.
What are you talking about?
I have no idea.
It's like the name Becky doesn't mean anything to you. Becky.
Like from 6th grade?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've known a Becky.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Wait, Cory's dog was named Becky.
Yeah.
Is that who
are you talking about my dog? My old dog? No. Becky Jacobs.
I don't think I know.
No.
No, not.
All right. Well, maybe this picture. All right. Well, you got me.
But only if the picture is of you banging
Yeah,
Becky,
not
and
just.
you're like, oh, Rebecca.
Oh
yeah,
She
I do.
calls. I've never even thought of her as a Becky. I don't know why.
I always call her Rebecca. So yeah, I mean we're friends on Instagram. I liked a couple of her Instagram pictures, and we got together for coffee.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Rob just keeps playing this game like there's an actual video of the two of you like, don't tell my girlfriend I'm doing this, and you're just like, that could be anybody.
I don't see any identifying marks on. I mean, yeah, I don't have tattoos, and this guy doesn't have tattoos, but I don't really.
That doesn't seem to weigh in.
Yeah, it's not the same. Not nearly the same thing.
Oh yeah, you won't recognize this little move. Oh my god, I'm almost there. Yahtzee. You know anybody else who does that?
I mean, listen.
It's a popular phrase in current American nomenclature.
They sold 50 million copies of that game.
I can't be the only person who does this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, are you looking for an alternative? I mean, we could try to find this guy. If you're looking for a hookup, I mean, that seems really weird.
If you're looking for the one-armed man, I'll help you find him.
Yeah, clearly. It's much like the...
I mean, do you know Becky somehow?
Yeah, I was gonna. That's the thing. And I'm much better at the asking the questions to figure out how much you know before we enter into this conversation. Like, Becky, like, your friend Becky? Or no?
Or some other Becky?
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
What...
But no. I will deny. I am Shaggy from the song "It Wasn't Me." Like, called me on the counter. Wasn't me. She stood there while I finished. Wasn't me. I don't know what to tell you. You never knew about my twin? Yeah, no, it's super weird. Yeah, I have a twin brother. Yeah, it's very weird.
He also answers to Robert.
Because he's fucking my life up all the time. That's really what he's doing.
He hears about me having any kind of little happiness, like me and you, and then he just goes
to ruin
and...
it.
Yeah.
Trying to ruin it. Evil Rob, I know you're out there. Although I'm wearing the beard. So do you think Evil Rob has no beard?
Evil Rob's flat-faced or bald-faced?
Yep. Just shaving it up, and he's out there trying to ruin my life. So if you see Evil Rob out there, let me know.
Yeah.
I think we should do a film where it's just me versus Evil Rob. And we couldn't. I would say we would do it with you, but it would take so long for the beard to grow back if we had to do reshoots that we could never get that done. So it's unfortunate. But anyway, so I do want to get into one other story at least before we get out of here,
because we've gotten off the rails a little bit.
A little bit off the rails, but
I'm sure this is going to bring us back into station.
This story takes us once again back to the Baltimore corner,
where you get the straight dope,
of course. And I'd like to say it's the first time we've had to talk about this, but it's not. The fun part is it's a new story. It's not a repeat of something else we've talked about before. So this week, new allegations that Baltimore City police officers have planted drugs on a defendant. So
yeah.
By
the way, I don't feel like we properly said this when we first talked about this story. 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
But yeah, no shit. This has happened for
a long time.
As long as Baltimore has been a city, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're getting caught on camera is the new revelation in this. Usually they had been either smart enough to not get caught on camera of some kind, or able to get rid of that evidence before anybody else saw it. But
did you see the quote from the sergeant, the Baltimore City sergeant?
No.
Out of the corruption case, not this case, but the corruption case.
Oh no.
Apparently he that they arrived on scene and there was an exchange that was overheard on his radio, because his radio was like keyed and he didn't realize it. But one of the other officers in the corruption case said, "Oh shit, I forgot to hit my body cam." And he was like, "Oh good, fuck it, you weren't even here. Get the hell out of here." After that guy's the one who beat up one of the defendants, and then
Wonderful.
So that guy is saying, "No, it was Johnson, man, it was Johnson," and they're like, "Johnson wasn't even on the scene. I don't know why you think Johnson was there." But now they've gone back, listened to the tape.
Yeah.
You can hear Johnson talking to the sergeant.
Right.
So, Baltimore City corruption. This is not a federal case. This is just the state case of planting drugs on a defendant.
By the way, I feel like my number one thing if I work in like the public defender's office or even any law office in Baltimore, and somebody says I didn't do it, they planted these drugs on me, is I'm going to watch the body cam footage and I'm going to listen to the reaction of the police officer. Because if the Baltimore Police Department is part of like Discovery, sends me a video where it's just like a police officer like cursing for 4.5 and he's like, "Oh, fucking assholes all day riding my ass. Oh, here's drugs. Great, thanks. Gotta go home and do more fucking paperwork on these stupid ass fucking drugs." And then another video with another client where it's just like, "All right, I'm going to do a visual surveillance of the what is this? It happens to be marijuanas.
Looks like we have some drugs here.
Looks like it's marijuanas. We're so happy to have been blessed by this marijuanas.
Thank God we had the body cameras on when we found this drugs. Sir, are these drugs yours? No, man, they ain't my drugs. I'm sure they're not, sir.
Sure. Yeah, tell that to the judge.
We good? Good?
Good?
Okay.
Just stop recording? Oh, man, that guy's going to get bad so bad.
Yeah. So the last case it resulted in at least 35 cases being dismissed.
Yeah.
Maybe more as it moves forward. Mm-hmm. This one will probably result in a bunch more cases being dismissed. And at some point you just have to ask yourself, when are you just going to toss out all the drug cases? Because anything that has a body cam as the majority of the evidence, I think you have to say, like, all right, well, maybe we're not going to prosecute this. I mean, Marilyn Mosby is because she's fucking stupid, but she'll continue pressing. I mean, she's got Keith Davis Jr. in jail, just got the bullet out of his neck for 2 years after he was shot. But they're still pressing him on false charges.
I'm surprised that Keith Davis, like the fact that these things are happening at the same time as Keith Davis Jr. is just ridiculous.
Yeah. And we talked about him on the previous podcast. It was a guy who has claimed he was innocent the entire time. Cops claim that he shot at them, armed robbery, chase, and then he shot at them. Test said gun was never fired. All the bullets recovered from the scene were the police officers.
Yeah.
He got shot up. None of the cops were injured at all. And he has claimed innocence since that time. And Marilyn Mosby had
the original description of the person who did it was nothing like Keith Davis Jr.
And they've had 2 trials.
I mean, they were both black guys, but that's it.
2 trials. Both of them ended. The first one was hung about evenly. The second one was hung 11-1. And after the interview, one of the jurors told someone, I think one of the news agencies, that the 12th juror refused to let the black man go free. That was basically it. Like, no. I don't care what the evidence said. I don't care what it said. He's not going free. So hung 11-1 for not guilty. And so Marilyn Mosby's like, nope, we're going to spend another $1 million charging this guy again. A guy who we shot up and who will never... I feel like there with cases that have reserved jurists, there should be like if you come back with like an 11-1 and you say that the one person was just like, no, the black guy did it, he's totally did it, I'm not gonna. There's no way you can. Though. Oh, I know, but I'm saying like if you got 11-1, then you could just go like, all right, well, we'll go to the reserves, and if we get a flat sweep with the reserves, then we're taking out the one and replacing it with the. That's not how the system works, man.
Know.
I'm
just saying. I think it would add a little gambling to.
I would prefer just a system where the jury never sees the defendant. Like, just you hear the facts of the case, absent any reference to race or even sex or anything else, and you just hear the facts of the case, and then that's it. You don't see the defendant. You don't get to hear any of those identifiers. And I guarantee you the conviction rate will plummet because a lot of this is just fear-mongering. It's like, do you want this hoodlum out on the streets and in your neighborhood?
While he's chained up in his orange jumpsuit.
Yeah, and of course, they make him look as guilty as fucking possible.
Right.
So, but anyway, hopefully we'll get some more cases dismissed. By the way, the first marijuana legal dealer will open this fall in Maryland, where if you have a prescription, you can go and get legal marijuana at a dispensary, but they don't call them dispensaries.
Yeah.
So the question is, at what point are we going to release everybody who is in jail for selling a nickel bag when I can go buy 2 ounces at the dispensary?
Well, Cory Booker just put up
he did
a bill in front of the Senate, but I'm a little bit nervous about it.
It looks like it's a pharmacy giveaway.
It looks like it's weighing way heavier to just because and this is nothing against Cory Booker. I'm sure
he's in the pocket of Big Pharma, but
he hasn't done anything like truly evil, which is a step in the right direction. But anytime you hear somebody say like Cory Booker's marijuana bill is going to change everything, and like you see it's like like throwing out all old convictions,
good. Yeah.
Sponging the records of anybody who ever had a marijuana conviction,
nice,
allowing people who have had convictions to an opportunity to have a job in this field, and blah 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 blah, like all these nice things. You go like, oh wow, this is great, this would really change things. And then you find out like way deep in the deep print where nobody's reporting, it's like Marlboro has the exclusive rights to all marijuana sold in America, and you're so excited about the bill that makes it legal or allows it to be decriminalized, move off Schedule 1. And
more importantly, though, taking the records of all of the people who's ever been...
You're just like, oh, wow, this sounds like a great thing. And then you find out the secret, deep, hidden truth underneath it all.
I do want to argue for this, though. About 15 years ago, 2003, I wrote a paper in college where I argued, if you really want marijuana to be legalized, tell the tobacco companies that they can sell it. Because they'll find a way that the police can test legal versus illegal and sell it on the at 7-Eleven for some substantial markup, I'm sure. Like, it'll be more expensive than your average. It's not California, but eventually the market will stabilize when everybody gets into the business and they figure out what the actual market price is, tax the shit out of it, and then it'll be legal. The problem is that was a good theory in 2003. Now, 6 states have total free legalization, and another 11 states have decriminalization, and
including Maryland. Yeah.
And another 10 states have done marijuana for medical marijuana, but getting it relatively easy.
Going back to this most recent stop, or the camera no at the Baltimore PD.
Yeah,
marijuana is what they found.
Yes,
and it didn't look like, it's not like he like pulled a brick out.
Yeah,
it looked like not like a distributed baggie. It looked like the type of thing you'd have for your own personal use.
Yo, I'm having a long weekend, man. I ain't got to work till Tuesday.
I'm sure it's more than the 10 ounces that you're
10
allowed.
Grams.
10 grams you're allowed to have it. Yeah, ounces. Yeah. Ugh. 10 grams.
You've been in California too long, man. I don't.
Listen, I don't even know what the difference is between ounces and grams. I don't see that sort of thing.
Smoke weed, baby.
It's the why is this guy getting hassled? Essentially, is my I feel like he probably bought that much weed so he wouldn't have to go do it again.
Yes,
it's like, oh, I'm going to have parties all weekend. So instead of getting going out and buying a 12-pack at a time, I'm going to buy a case of beer now.
I don't want to drive while I'm inebriated and want more of this thing. I'm going to get it all now, and then I'll enjoy it over the course of the weekend.
Yeah. And then I don't have to make a stop for more marijuana at some point.
Yeah.
I can just get it all at once.
It's really, really stupid. And the corruption in the Baltimore City Police Department is clear, and I don't want to get into please go to...
By the way, another great, I know that the police officer is lying thing is if he pulls out the baggie, he looks like, this looks like exactly 11 grams of marijuana.
Like, I wonder
how I got so specific.
Yeah.
You should have bought
only
1.1 gram less, my friend.
I will say one comment I got this week was that somebody loved how uncomfortable you got. Like, they can always tell when you get uncomfortable when you're like, the thoughts of Robert Cheek are his and his alone, not those of Cory Booker or the Anthem. And I don't want to go down that street again.
I'm just covering myself in case.
In case you guys want to see what caused that reaction, go to episode 173. The last 25 minutes or so got a little
dicey.
Got a little dicey. I don't want to go down that street again. But in the end, at some point we've been talking about it for the last 6 weeks. You have to just say the FOP corrupt.
Yeah.
Most of the police corrupt. And we have to just fire everybody, start over, hire back the people that are trustworthy.
You want the perfect example of this? Yeah. 2 weeks ago when we talked about it, Kevin Davis said that maybe somehow this police officer was reenacting the thing. And then somebody was just like, that doesn't make it any better. And Kevin Davis is like, I know. I'm grasping at straws here. Can't you see? And then this week, when he has this press conference about the charges that are dropped for cases that are regarding this most recent body cam incident.
Yes.
He goes, well, the guy had actual drugs. So, I mean, this is a good arrest, even though the body cam footage is bad. I don't see why we're tossing it. It's just like, no. You're not allowed to make that distinguishment anymore.
P.S. Who said that the guy actually had drugs?
Yeah. Oh, the police officer.
The ones who didn't.
Oh, the one
reenacted.
The one who committed the felony and created the crime.
Yes. Yeah. We're now supposed to trust him that he actually did find the drugs this time.
Listen, I may have cheated on you 300 times this year, but I'm telling you for certain.
This one
was not me.
No.
I did not do this.
And the commissioner also put out a press release to the FOP and all the officers that you are not to recreate the capture of or the finding of drugs anymore. Let's not do that. Let's not continue to commit felonies like we have been for the last 20 years.
Like there's going to be a memo like, no more killing people. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And then the troops rise up and just like, the police commissioner doesn't have our back.
Which is exactly what when Mayor Pugh comes out, it's 6 more weeks of winter, right?
Yeah,
this year again?
something like that.
Yeah.
By the way, Pugh, like...
Clearly she doesn't listen to the podcast. She's got a lot of time. She's not actually being a mayor. Maybe give it a listen to the podcast.
She's busy sitting on board meetings of Legg Mason.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, sure, yeah.
I need to go home and find out what like everyone who's working at the Baltimore Sun is doing with their time.
Oh, they're filleting members of the government and the police force. That's really what's going on.
Is anybody still working at the city paper? They haven't been officially closed up yet.
There are people, and they're the ones who have the op-eds that are coming out.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that they've been a little bit castigated from the investigation. Like Kevin Davis is like, why am I going to talk to you? Aren't you out of a job yet?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So it's hard for them to do their jobs.
I would, if I was a plucky investigative reporter back home in Baltimore, I would just make it a thing to just like sleep on the courthouse steps or the city hall steps until Pugh comes out and talks.
Gonna have to come out at some point.
I mean, it is remarkable that it has been 3 weeks of this kind of thing happening, and she hasn't said a single thing. I've been looking for it, too. That's the problem. I've been looking for it. She's made statements. She went out 3 days or 5 days after the first incident happened and played softball with some kids and Kevin Davis.
Yes.
And there were reporters taking pictures, but there weren't reporters asking questions. Like, for the love of God.
Filleting the government.
For the love of God. This is, by the way, I've never been one to necessarily propose this idea on a podcast before, but I think that you are going to have to, Baltimore City is going to have to take a Republican.
Oh.
Like, we are going to have to, like, much like Mueller.
Take your medicine, Mayor.
Much like Mueller gets, like, bestowed upon the Trump administration and he doesn't have anything to say about it, Pugh is going to have to answer to, like, I really think Larry Hogan should just appoint a Republican to the city of Baltimore. And
I don't know if you know how democracy works.
And just make him, he's right over top of Pugh, and anytime she does anything, he holds a press conference, and anytime that she doesn't speak, he holds a press conference, and anytime she tries to do something, he can say like, no, that's not a really good idea. Like,
so
just
like in the
one
parliamentary
person,
system, do a shadow government, shadow mayor, shadow police commissioner.
Not even that, like just
someone with actual authority.
I know, goddamn, how? Maybe Hogan's just got to do it.
Well, Baltimore City's separate from the state. You can't do it. It's a separate entity. They don't even derive their power from the state. They derive their power directly from the Constitution. From the Maryland Constitution, not the federal. But.
I don't think, honestly, I think the reason why Hogan's staying out of it too is because he doesn't want anything to do with that.
That is a cesspool that will draw you in.
Let that be somebody else's problem.
I got to run again in a year, man. I don't want any part of that.
I've been doing great with everything else in Maryland. Like
everything's good except for this. And he's probably getting votes because listen, Democrats, you're gonna lose if you keep it up. If Pugh runs again in 2 years or 3 years from now, she is going to lose. Yeah. From doing all of this shit.
Here's the problem. It's not. Nobody wants to hear it. It's the point that I've been making. We need a take your medicine mayor. You need somebody who's just gonna get the shit kicked out of them for 4 years, while you let them do all the things that are necessary to fix the problems that we have.
Go back and check out the Old Town Mall episode.
Yeah.
One of our best episodes. I mean, not as good as last week. Last week was particularly good.
It was pretty special, but we need somebody who can go in there and just like not care about the fact that they're not going to be reelected and just take the shit for a lot of things that need to happen like right now and just fix it.
Yep.
Because there's no way that you could be mayor of Baltimore, fix things, and be popular all at the same time.
Nope. Yeah, you're going to have to just take shit.
Yeah, you're going to have to take shit. Yep. Now, if you wanted to level off a little bit, like if you wanted to fix one thing and let everything else coast the way that it's been, and hope that that one thing remains fixed throughout the entire...
Still moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, like, just do something. Like, okay, so what was the like African American festival that's happening?
We talked about this before. I can't remember, but there was a festival that was scheduled to be at the Inner Harbor.
Right. They had originally
Essence Festival. No.
What?
Essence Festival. I don't think that was it. That was.
I don't remember offhand. I don't want to get it wrong.
I think that's in New Orleans. Sorry.
There's a big festival that was planned for the Inner Harbor. It's supposed to happen all night at the Inner Harbor for the entire weekend.
Permits pulled months in advance.
Right. Everything was good to go, and then all of a sudden this week, like a week before it happens, the mayor's office lets them know, no, you can't be in the Inner Harbor. You have to go to Druid Hill Park.
Right.
And you only get a day, and the police are going to kick you out at like 8 o'clock or whatever. And it's like...
By the way, that's going to work real well.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Have fun trying to evict all these people.
And guaranteed... riot police are going to be the ones who show up. It's like you're setting yourself up to fail. Why would you possibly do that? Let's get all of the people in a park, and then we'll have the riot police show up, and I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
Like, I thought that things couldn't get worse than Rawlings Blake.
Yeah.
I thought that Rawlings Blake was a level of cowardness that we had never seen before in an elected official.
Yep.
But I was wrong. Catherine Pugh is the world's biggest coward.
She is.
Like, just... And she doesn't care. She doesn't want to make any kind of effort to make anything better. Here's the thing. Everyone hates my, like, you know, like, put a Republican in place and just make him fix things for a while. But because you have to be a Democrat to win, you get secret Republicans who run anyway.
Yes.
I mean, Pugh is basically
She's a Hillary Republican.
She's
Hillary
more
Democrat.
than Hillary,
Yeah.
though. Like, she is more in the bag. As bad as Hillary seemed to be in the bag for special interests before, Pugh is worse than that.
Which is, by the way, why Sheila Dixon almost beat her.
Yeah.
The woman who stole from the city.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. She almost beat her because Dixon, for what it's worth, is actually to the left of Pugh. So, by the way, there's somebody farther left. Joshua Harris. God, I hope you run again in 4 years. Please run again. Give us an alternative.
I feel like the Hogan's just got to step in. He's got to designate a special Republican to the city.
You say Republican, I say let's go the other way. Let's put the green in and see what happens. Let him clean up the city because there's no expectation. I mean, he could do whatever he wants to do, and the likelihood that he wins again is probably low. I mean, it's kind of like we'll go back to a Democrat after you, but we're going to give you a shot. So let him do it. Take shit for a while, do some real change, and then have it be undone by Jack whoever when he runs.
I have a wonderful plan.
Oh God, it does involve Republicans because it's not going to fly.
No, I got a wonderful plan. You ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Get somebody who is a notorious lefty.
Okay.
Sure, Rob. Let's use Rob as an example. And then Rob runs as a Republican for the mayor of Baltimore.
Okay.
And throughout the entire process, during the primary process, during the general election process, just say, hey, I'm just smart. I decided to run as a Republican because I would have less competition in the primary.
Going into the general.
I'm a Democrat. You guys have seen me before. You know what I stand for.
Check out the podcast, episode 173.
I'm a Democrat. So anybody who's registered as a Republican and wants to vote for an option in the general election,
here you go.
I'm running as a Republican.
Sure.
So just vote for me. And then it'll be me versus whoever the Democratic candidate is. And then we can settle it out.
Yeah.
And then it's not just a cakewalk for whoever wins the Democratic primary. And then you get to the general election. You've beaten whatever Republicans out there because you got the 15 votes necessary to move on to the next round.
Right. Yeah.
And just pull the same thing. Go like, hey.
I'm actually a Democrat.
I'm actually a Democrat.
Which is not true. I'm to the left of the Democrats, but yeah.
I just wanted to make it was a smart political move by me
Clearly.
to run as a Republican.
Smart guy.
So that I can get to this point where it's just me and her in the final.
Right.
So just vote for me and everything will be fine. I'll fix all your problems and then give all the usual Democratic lines that win you in Maryland. Like I'm going to make the bay swimmable and fishable in 5 years and I'm going to raise the minimum wage and
let me tell you how that
make
works
the police treat you well and blah,
Let me tell
blah,
you how
blah.
that works out. Maybe not for all, but for me especially. About the time I'm going to win the Republican nomination is when they find my body in Cherry Hill with a police issue 9mm round in it and some crack sprinkled on my chest.
No, what I'm saying, if you got all the way through and then you won and
Yes.
you became the first Republican to win
In 100 years. Yeah.
That's when you can whip off the mask at the end. You can be like, I'm going to be a Republican the whole time. I lied to y'all. I'm going to fix all the problems and you're going to hate me for it. And then 100 years you're going to build a statue because I fixed it all.
I wouldn't actually do that. And again, I wouldn't survive because there's no way the FOP lets me get into office.
No way. No chance.
There is a hit put out on me easily. If it looks like I'm going to win, I'm going to get pulled over and I'm going to have drugs on me or I'm going to pull a weapon on them and they're going to fear for their lives and I'm going to be dead. I already dealt with that shit enough and I wasn't actually running for mayor of Baltimore.
So that's my plan. Just get a token Republican to run. But,
If you need
that's
a
just
token Republican, I got one sitting right here to my right.
I was trying to run for mayor of Baltimore.
Got no support from
I
you
was
guys.
too
What's
real
going on?
for him.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
I brought it too hot. They didn't like it.
Well, you know what else is too real?
Well, hold on, real quick. Just one thing, one idea, and I might make this a T-shirt just for fun.
Sure, go ahead.
I think that mayor is not the proper term for Catherine Pugh anymore.
Okay.
I think we should call her Coward Pugh.
Okay.
And anytime anybody sees her,
Yeah.
instead of saying mayor, just say coward.
Okay.
And then just wait. I mean, like, obviously, a lot of people would need to get in on this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just put it out on Twitter to, like, Justin Fenton and people like that.
Sure.
Just see if they'll incorporate it into their routine.
Yeah.
But keep calling her Coward Pugh. And then whenever she's just like, I'm sorry, what did you say? It's like, I'm sorry, Mayor Pugh. Mayor Pugh. That's what I said. Mayor Pugh.
Yeah.
So, Coward Pugh, what's your plan for... No. I just heard it again. And then people running up at public events going like, Coward Pugh, Coward Pugh. Like, I think that if enough people start saying it, like, instead of the office in which she won, then maybe she'll actually realize that she's being a coward because nobody's calling her on it.
How about this? Let's make the T-shirt.
It's the man with no clothes. It's the king with no clothes.
Let's make the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And if you can get a picture
of you
with Catherine Pugh in the T-shirt, we will send you the money that the T-shirt cost. So a T-shirt's going to be like $25. We'll send you $25 if somehow you can get a picture with Catherine Pugh in the Not like me here, Catherine Pugh in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, like Catherine Pugh steps up next to you and you just like pull the shirt back.
Have you seen the pic? So this is great. The Pod Save America people do this. Mm-hmm. They have a repeal and go fuck yourself T-shirt.
Okay.
And they've gotten pictures of people with like Paul Ryan and him wearing the repeal and go fuck yourself T-shirt, where it's just like you have it under the jacket, and then right before the picture gets taken, you just sort of
and then walk away.
I would die happy if somebody took a picture with a cat. Okay, so
make the shirt. If you buy it and if you can get a picture, we will send you the cost of the T-shirt.
You know what else I might do? I might find get a similar group on Facebook for ad purposes of like everyone who likes Catherine Pugh's Facebook page, and then just try and sell the Coward Pugh shirt to all of them. Because eventually it's gonna hit her. Like it's just gonna like somebody's gonna walk in. The guy who got arrested is gonna walk in the office and be like, "Did you know that there's a Coward Pugh T-shirt out there?"
I think also
some idiot in Los Angeles is calling you a coward.
I think we also need to consider the finishing the idea of the do your job or quit. Because we ran out of time. We thought 70 Blake's out. It's not going to matter. But apparently...
It's always in season.
Yeah. Do your job or quit, maybe making a comeback. But that's not the one. Coward Pugh will be the one that if you can get a picture with Catherine Pugh and you're wearing the T-shirt, I'll send you the value of the T-shirt. Just it makes it worth it because I will then tweet that to Justin Fenton and Rector and everyone and be like, look at this. This is amazing.
The people are speaking.
Oh, you know where else the people are speaking?
OhTheAnthem.com, Cory at OhTheAnthem.com, Oh The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to my political blog. That's foundingthefuture.us. You can find links to the news website and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think we done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. Certainly not as good as last week. Check out episode 173 right at the end. Fantastic. But as always, you are listening to the Oh The Anthem podcast, part of the Oh The Anthem digital network. For Cory, this is Rob. Have a good week, everybody. And make sure you are checking out the other members of the OTA digital network. The Dirty Shore Underground podcast has a live show coming up August 12th. They'll be going live at 11 a.m. So make sure you do check that out. And hopefully, fingers crossed, new episodes of the Anthem Alliance podcast will be coming soon because vacations have ended, technological problems have ended. So fingers crossed for new episodes of that. Make sure you guys send all of your questions and comments about this episode and previous episodes to Anthem Alliance podcast at gmail.com.
And definitely don't listen to the Catherine Pugh podcast because she's not going to do it because she's a coward.
Nope, not going to be a coward.
Bye.